The Gentlementor.
Right.
And that's what socialism, like pure socialism, wants to do. This is not like Marxism yet. I mean, Marxism will force you to it. Socialism just wants to push you into it. You know, you live here, this is how we do things. And that's the problem with it, is not all of us are wired that way. We don't all want the nanny state to come and take care of us. I'd rather they went on down the road and just leave me here to do my thing. And that's the best way for all of us to get along. So that's such a difficult piece of circumstance to deal with, and I think you probably wind up dealing with it on each one of those 9 things on some level. But clearly, yeah, when it comes to sustenance and protection, woo, yeah, that's big external.
I would think that freedom, protection, and provision or subsistence are probably the 3 things that are connected in there, because if you want provision, even substance, the more freedom that you give up, the more you can have a protection and substance, right? Yeah. Because, I mean, really, we look at it, we look at freedom. How free are we as individuals and families? Our provision or our substance, we look to Walmart and Amazon.
Right.
To provide those for us. Well, what if those don't exist one day? COVID has been a great example of, like, Walmart.
And you may get better ones.
Right. Walmart not existing anymore, except for online deliveries. Now we got that, and Amazon, came to the rescue because we didn't have to answer the door when they brought
Thanks, Jeff.
Stuff. Yes, thanks, Jeff.
Thanks for sacrificing. Taking one for the team there.
But the more freedom you get, the less you get of those 2, right? So if the government, and again, I'm going to go back to Adam talks about the government will not save you, but if the government releases you to more freedom. Again, they're just there. If we go back to like why the government of the United States is supposed to exist, is to protect the Constitution, not the people.
The rights.
So, the rights, the Constitution, which gives the rights, the amendments, all that stuff. But again, it does not provide you provision. It does not provide you necessary protection.
It gives you the freedom to go do that for yourself.
But you have more freedom. Give up more of that freedom, and you get more protection, more protection and provision. I like the provision more than substance word because it's a P word. But you give up that substance, or you get more substance and you get more provision or
that's the big trade-off.
The freedom.
That's the big trade-off. That's the big cultural.
Are the 3 that I would connect.
You have summarized the cultural dialogue at this moment in time. That's literally the 2 groups of people that are duking it out, that are arguing with each other right now. It's people who want the government to come rescue them, and people who are like, I've seen what they do with roads. I'd rather they not get involved in my life.
Right.
So yeah, it's the old Thomas Jefferson, I prefer dangerous freedom to peaceful slavery, something like that. I don't know. I'm a bad quoter. I'm not a good quoter. But yeah. And
well, I just go back to that doctor I knew in church, and he said, he told me 15 years ago, he said, the things that we're going to need in the future are land, ammo, and silver. And that was all he was investing in.
Yeah.
Land so he could grow food.
Yep.
Silver so that he had something valuable to trade.
Hard money.
Ammo to protect his
lead and silver, baby,
and his land and his family, and his tomatoes that he was growing to feed his family, and potatoes and all that stuff.
No, and I was thinking as you were saying those things, and you were saying, okay, well, I need this and this and this, and I'm like, I was thinking of, you said sustenance and protection and freedom, and I'm like, how much are those 3 things tied to identity?
Okay.
Or vice versa. I'm not sure which one is the leader there. But your ideas, your attitude about those 3 things kind of summarizes your identity. I mean, you're either one of 2 groups at that point. If you can look at those 3 things and go, yes, I want to do this myself, or I want somebody to do it for me.
Well, and try to, and I can't imagine how we would put ourselves in the shoes of someone who lived in communist Russia during the Cold War.
Or Cuba. Go to Miami and talk to the people that escaped Cuba.
Or someone who's living in modern-day Afghanistan.
Yeah, they are vehement freedom lovers.
Right. And they don't have the freedom, but yet they've got the socialists, they've got the Marxism things, they've got those things.
And the Taliban.
Yeah, the Taliban. And how those play into your identity.
Yeah.
And you look at, even I was mentioning the movie The Courier with Benedict Cumberbatch. You're looking at his identity was based on the fact that he had lost his freedoms.
Yeah, what identity do you have at the point that
years.
At the point that you basically become a ward of the state? Okay,
Right.
Oh, I've got all this freedom. I can do whatever I want with my time because the government's paying me and they're providing my food and they're giving me a place to live and they're protecting me. So now I can do whatever I want. Okay, let's see what that looks like.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing
seen what that looks like.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's going to be an inferior product.
Probably.
Because you've started from a place where you're powerless. You're completely dependent on other people. You have all this freedom. You can do whatever you want as long as everybody keeps like feeding you, spoon feeding you, taking care of you.
Right.
What does that do to your identity? And what kind of things do you create from that? I mean, come on. That's that's going to take a toll. You're not going to sustain that. That's what everybody wants. They think they want that free lunch and that free giveaway because then I'll be able. There's no art. There's no creation in that. There's no catalyst. They've removed every motivation to create. What you're going to create is going to be junk.
Right.
It will be.
No, absolutely. Wow. That's pretty. Yeah. So we can see. I mean,
that's how I track it. I mean, again, that's my own slanty view, but
I can see now that what I said earlier about connecting these things on three different things, a right, left, and a middle, is probably completely erroneous, because if you even go back to affection creates identity as well. You know, I have put a lot of identity in who my kids think that I am, or see me as, or view me as, their perspective, my wife's perspective, your perspective of me. That has, right or wrong, that has created an identity in me that I want to continue to, good or bad, whether I like it or not.
This is a great opportunity to plug my book.
Oh,
I wrote a book about this.
Plug your book. Let's do it. Can we order it on Amazon?
You can't, but you can. You used to be able to get it for free on the internet, but now I don't think I have a website. I think the internet
have it somewhere.
The internet ate my website. There you go. I have a domain name, so you can go there and it'll say page not found.
Email us.
Yeah. If you want a free copy,
send us a message. We'll send you a free copy.
It's an ebook. No, that was the whole thing. It's like how jacked up we get seeking out affection, how we're hardwired, not affection, but love. And how jacked up we get because we don't know how to look for that thing we're looking for. And so we spend our lives just like doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Right.
That's all the quest for affection. That's hardwired in. Creation, we've talked about that. The idea that God's, we'll make them in our own image. And I think, man, that's the number one thing when I hear made in the image of God, I think creativity. That we create things. We procreate. Right. We make things. We build things. That's the image of God, and it's part of it at least. That stuff, that need for affection, that's hardwired. There are hardwired, some of those are like hardwired physical needs, and some of them are like hardwired spiritual needs. Some of them are probably just emotional, psychological needs. And that might be a more advantageous way to approach them. And say, okay, yes, this is a need, but this is a felt need, this is a, an emotional need, this is a spiritual need. Like I said, freedom, identity, creativity, affection, to me, those are all like, that's spiritually hardwired stuff into us. That's just who we are.
Yeah.
That's, basic operating system stuff.
Right. That's hardwired neuroscience that's inside of our neuro makeup, that those things.
Practically biological.
All right. So here's a couple that we haven't touched on.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Go back through the list because I know there's some we haven't interfaced with yet, but it's hard to keep nine.
Participation and understanding. There's a two we have not talked a lot about.
And these kind of like, probably more than affection, I would say, are things that aren't required for us to survive, but are required for us to be functional as a member of society. How about that? Like, if you're going to be a hermit, you don't need those things. You'll probably just go crazy up in the mountains and do crazy stuff. But if you're going to be part of society, you need to feel some kind of participation, some sort of inclusion, some sense of community. Because if you don't, you wind up being Tom Hanks on the island, only instead of being on an island, you're on an island full of people. And if you think that's not destructive, you think that's not destructive to your mental health, you're wrong. That's most of the needs that people have. Most of the stuff that we interface with, like in this forum, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's people who need connection. They need understanding. They need somebody to finally throw up the flag and go, "You're not the only one.
Yeah.
You're not. You're not alone. You're not the only one." And
I think that goes back to Viktor Frankl talking about one of the 3 key things that we have to have, and that one of those is the community of like-minded people. That we have to have that community. That's the participation, and I guess likewise that could be linked to the understanding aspect of it as well. That we need those people to understand us, who we are. They understand us, which links back to identity, which links back to freedom.
Yeah.
Which identity also is affection, in which freedom links to substance and protection.
Yeah, it would be a really, really messy Venn diagram.
Yeah, it really would be, wouldn't it?
You'd have to get one of those big circle templates with all the different size circles.
Right, and they would all interconnect. It'd be like
it looked like you're in a bubble bath.
9 rings. Yeah. Be like,
oh, we're back to the rings, a bubble bath. Yeah.
Back to the rings, except there's only 9. All except
there's only and there's the one that rules them all.
Swords.
The one that rules them all. There's that one.
The one ring. Where we go back, we have effectively connected everything we have done.
It's a big ring. It's a big ring. It's a big ring.
Back to Shang-Chi.
Hey, guess what?
Shang-Chi.
You know what I think of when I see
Lord
this?
of the Rings.
I think
back to this, the 9 things, the 9 rings, the 10 rings.
Wow.
One ring to rule them all. Wow. Back to Owen Wilson.
It's mind blowing.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I know this is probably going to be in 2 parts, but if you're missing, you haven't gone back to listen to
watch the whole thing. You got to hear the whole thing.
Please watch the whole thing because it all comes together. If you like comic books and Marvel, listen to the last.
And I feel so good about it too because there's no end of the world stuff here. This is all happy, upbeat.
This is all good stuff. Yeah, we moved from that into the world stuff.
I got to say, and I tried to make a point of it in the description too. I want everybody to know, we may be talking about the end of the world in the last episode, but it's still funny. We still laugh. We laugh just as much as ever. We can talk about the most morose stuff in the world, and we will still find ways to laugh. So you don't ever have to worry about a depressing podcast. I don't think we've ever done that. Even when they've been serious and meaningful, they're still not depressing.
Mental health. I was listening to some of Adam Grant's stuff today, and he's phenomenal. He's got a new TED Talk about languishing, which is the word for
it's the second time I've heard that today.
Really?
Yes.
2021. That's the hot topic for 2021.
Someone said something about, are you doing something or are you just languishing? It was on a YouTube video. I don't know who it was, but I remember seeing that word because you don't see that word very often. I tell you, just like I said, I remember the word languish and thinking, that's odd.
He has really brought that out because 2019. Or 2020, sorry, 2020 really gave us the whole COVID thing, and it gave us the.
You're welcome.
What are we doing with our lives? And here we are in 2021, where we're just like, we're what was it he said in his TED Talk? Where I can't even remember. I can't even quote it now, but it was so great. But it means we're not depressed, but we're not on fire for what we're doing. It's kind of that middle ground where we're just like. I'm not on fire for really anything that's happening in my life right now. I'm not really gung-ho, but I'm not just really ready to call it quits. It's that whole middle ground. And he talks about having to get flow is the antidote for languishing is flow. And that's where you get some momentum, even if it's very small momentum. And he talked about getting momentum. He talked about getting momentum in Mario Kart is what he talked about. That's where he found his momentum during the pandemic, was playing Mario Kart online with his family. And he got closer to his sister. He got closer to his kids and his brother because they were much better than him, and his kids were teaming up with his brother and stuff like that. Anyway, it was a great TED Talk, so I recommend
Mario Kart's
check
great.
it out.
I love Mario.
Mario Kart's great. Yeah. So, and I didn't realize you could play it online now.
Nor did I. That would be freaking awesome. We should get that. Yeah. That should be a live stream. You gotta look into
figure that out.
How we can play games together.
So he said they were having simultaneous Mario Kart and video FaceTime calls with their family together, so that they could talk and hound each other and trash talk each other while they were actually playing online as well. So we gotta figure that out. So
Yeah, for sure. I didn't know that was a thing. I guess it makes sense. Everybody's doing the the Steam and all that the kids do. I'm sure you got a video game kid in your house. You probably know all this.
Steam. I don't know anything about Steam. Bright and I played Split
Steam's like an online game service thing where you can play they got a library of a billion games.
Oh, is that the new Google thing? That's not the new Google.
No. Steam's been around for a while. Here's a picture of your daughter in Arkansas.
Oh yeah.
She's traveling, world traveler this last couple weeks, isn't she?
She had an Arkansas trip this weekend with her.
She went to Colorado. Was that last week? She's in Colorado?
Yeah, she was in Colorado last week, Arkansas this week. So, yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Steam. I'm not familiar. Bright and I were playing Splitgate, which is a lot like Halo, which is pretty good. And we played like 2 games last night, and about 8:30 he's downstairs and I'm upstairs, and we're on FaceTime together. And then chatting on the game. He's like, after 2 games, he's like, I'm really tired. I'm going to bed. I was like, okay, dude, come up and say goodnight.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I remember Andy and I used to play when they had the Golden Eye on Wii, and we would play online. But they don't have on Wii. You didn't have the headsets or anything, so we get on Skype on the computer.
Oh yeah.
And then we could talk back and forth on Skype while we were playing. But yeah, that got to be a nightly thing for a while there in Moberly. Of course, then they quit having that.
Man,
just want to find a game I love. I know. I'm hurting for it, man. I still like playing it, but
we need a reboot. We need a reboot of GoldenEye.
I'm down.
In today's modern day online gaming
with
stuff,
all that
we could do that.
Super hyper graphics and stuff. It would be so good. It was such a good game.
It doesn't even have to be hyper graphics. It could just be better gameplay, smoother gameplay.
If it just worked.
And I can just Rockets in the Complex is all I want to do. Rockets in the Complex. That's all.
Oh, Rockets in the Complex. I like Shotguns in the Library was my favorite. I love that. Is the library? I think they call it a library. I don't know why. I never saw any books.
Yeah, it was a library.
But it was it had all the things up and down the stairs. Man, we get shotguns and that was like the thing. Get a shotgun and go to town.
It was on GoldenEye was on BBC the other night. I told my son, I was like, "Yeah, come in here, look at this GoldenEye right here." And he's like, "What? That's really?" Yeah. It's like, yep, it's the best, one of the best Pierce Brosnan, James Bond.
One of the best movies. Definitely one of the best video games. Pinnacle moment for the 007 world, the 007 universe. Everybody's got a universe. Can we have our own universe too?
We have our own universe.
It's kind of half that thing behind you, and half it's like moving. Your side, it's the real, and my side's the cartoon. So
it's the timeline, the divergent timeline of. Yeah.
Ooh. In the multiverse.
What was I going to say? Something about GoldenEye. Oh man, pinnacle moments in my life was renting the video projector from the library in Moberly. Setting up in my house on that wooden ladder, projecting that on the wall in the back room at church and also at my house, and us playing and having to take Dramamine in order to keep.
Yeah, now you're talking. I'm like cream puffs, proximity fudge. Oh yeah, overwhelming nausea. Like that
cream puffs, overwhelming nausea.
3 hours of coffee.
Did you say proximity fudge or proximity mines?
Proximity fudge.
Proximity fudge?
Yeah. Remember, I used to make the fudge as we started calling it proximity fudge because I'd bring it and set it down. We'd keep eating it and drinking coffee.
Because we were playing GoldenEye with the proximity mines.
And then 3 hours later, you're sitting there going, I'm going to need a vomit bag, I think. Yeah, you just like after a couple hours of it start feeling like, ooh, this is going bad.
Yep. Oh man,
I need to exit the ship.
That was
good times, baby. Good times. It didn't stop us from doing it over and over again.
No, it didn't. That didn't stop us for sure.
The Gentlementor.